Welcome back, everybody, to Captain Nomad's channel. So, I was reading the news today in the morning, and I saw this motorcycle article regarding the new upcoming 250cc adventure motorcycles that are going to be unveiled soon. That is this year, 2020. So I thought, let's just try to make a video on that, because Captain Nomad is not exclusively about ESD or my rides or anything as such. It is anything related to motorcycles and anything related to traveling. So we are not secluding ourselves to an exclusive or a specific cause here. So considering that is out of the way, let's start with our video. Alright, so today I wanted to discuss about some of the possible upcoming 250cc ADV motorcycles that can be coming to India. Obviously, that is what I meant by upcoming. As you all probably know, the ADV scene in India has been growing quite rapidly in the past years. We already have the Himalayan, which has turned out quite beautiful over the past years. So I was very much into the ADV scene some time back, before I was planning to get the SD, and I was planning to get a Himalayan instead. But I was quite unsure of how it may hold up. So it does provide RSA service, and to be honest, the engine has evolved into quite a beautiful and a sturdy and a reliable engine. But that is all thanks to the loyal customers of RE, who have had this patience of going with Royal Enfield, and then always of course you have to thank RE for that as well. Another thing I just wanted to talk to you about, I used to follow a YouTuber called Ichi Boots, and my god, like, what she did was she came to India, bought a Himalayan from here in India, and then she rode it all across Asia, man. Yeah, it was all around Asia. She did a cross country, and I couldn't help but wonder, man, this lady, she has quite the balls, because I don't think the Royal Enfield Himalayan was considered to be quite sturdy and reliable back in that time, because it was having these consistent issues. But to be honest, I think that is just blown out of proportion by the automobile industry media. So yes, that is when I realized that the media is actually blowing it out of proportion. That is this stigma that revolves around the Royal Enfield motorcycles. I mean, yeah, it is not as good as the Japs, but they're not as bad as they portrayed. Like, I saw these. Okay, if you go back to a certain time period, the only news about Royal Enfield motorcycles was that they were breaking down part by part. I heard. Now I don't know how much of this is true, but I heard news that the engine had, I mean, the frame had got so rusted that the engine fell off, or maybe that was because of the vibrations. I don't quite remember. But and then I heard about a certain person who was on his Himalayan ride, and the chassis, the frame got bent or broke off. I don't quite remember. Now, these were all major acquisitions. I'm not sure if they're genuine or not. I'm pretty sure, like, the customer might not make false acquisitions, right? But then, anyway, man, those can be like, see, what we have to take into consideration is the 411 LS engine, that is the long stroke engine that is being used on the Himalayan, was comparatively a new engine which was completely R&D'd by the Royal Enfield. So yes, there are bound to be some shortcomings of a new engine. So you can't expect it to be as reliable as the Japanese. The Japs have been making engines since God knows what time, since the 60s, 50s, what is it? Of course, you can't expect it to be as reliable as that. I mean, give it time, it will evolve. And yes, I know a lot of people who got the first gen Himalaya, and they got the faulty parts swapped out by the ASC, and that was on the house. They didn't have to pay for it. And then it ran like as good as new. So I don't see a problem with that. Now coming back to our topic, we already have the RE Himalayan and the Hero X-Pulse in the ADV scene in India. X-Pulse isn't really a tourer, but it lacks the weight that is required for the presence on the highway. Neither does it have the power. So yeah, it's not exactly a tourer motorcycle, but then it's a really good city commuting bike, man. Seriously. But more about that later. Alright, lads, so getting back to the topic that I was originally planning to talk on is the news that I saw in the morning was about a 250cc engine by Yamaha. Now, Yamaha.
Yes, Yamaha.
So, what actually happened was I was going through the news today morning and I saw this article stating that there might be a new Yamaha 250cc AD that is coming to the Indian shores. The genuinity of this news is still questionable, I think, but in case they do launch it, they already have a 250cc engine, right, on the FZ25. Not the most desired. What is this noise, man? What is this noise? What is this noise? What is this noise? We'll most probably be seeing the same 250cc engine that is seen on the FZ and the Phaser 25. The Phaser 25 is discontinued, right? Anyway, now this will be a game changer for the motorcycle because as far as I know, FZ25 sales were not up to par, and I'm not quite sure why that happened because I rode the bike when it was launched back in, when was it, 2015 16, sometime back then, and I just love the acceleration on that bike, man. Like seriously, it was in the, let's say, somewhere around the Duke 200 category, just vaguely, okay. So yeah, I did love the acceleration, but there was something lacking, it was almost like the bike felt as if it was not there altogether. Does that make sense? But all things considered, if you plonk the same engine into a ADV, things change, right? Because you get around 20 Newton meters of torque at 6k RPM, man. That's stupid quick for a mediocre 250cc engine, man. Seriously, just look at that engine, man. It's as simple as it can be. It's air cooled. It is a SOHC setup. It's basically a bare bones engine, and if this engine can be tweaked for a little bit more power and torque, because obviously the ADV setup would be, it might add to the weight of the bike, right? Or will it? I don't know. I still feel like the power is lacking, man. Seriously, in FZ25. Like, all things considered, it's not a rev happy engine, obviously, but still there could be a little bit more power on the top end, and the top speed could have been a bit better. So, but the torque, that will be the revival for the Yami 250, I guess. Or will it? Next motorcycle brand that we're going to talk about is now the question at the end of the previous motorcycle brand, that is Yamaha, was, is it going to be a revival for the Yami 250? But the reason why I question this is because KTM is in the scene, baby. And this one is actually legit news. The KTM actually reminds me of Taz from Looney Tunes, man. Like you guys ever seen that? I used to watch Looney Tunes when I was a kid. It's as if you unleash that thing and then there's no looking back. It'll burn rubber. It'll set fire to all the curves on the roads and never let you get off the throttle. It's aggressive as fuck, man. Seriously. And as you guys already know, KTM makes some really good dirt bikes. Obviously, they have the most wins in the Dakar Rally. Even Yamaha comes in second and Honda comes in third. So considering they tweak their 250cc engine for a bit of torque and launch it like that badass 390 adventure and keep a check on the pricing, they're gonna ace the market without any doubt. Now the next one in the scene is obviously Hero. Hero has been planning to launch a much more upgraded version of the X-Pulse 200 because they were getting a lot of slack for not launching a bike that was meant for the highway. X-Pulse is a really good motorcycle, man, seriously. Like for okay, it's good for city commuting and to spice things up a little bit. If you are a hoonigan like me, then you can have fun in the city. Now, okay, this is said to be legit, but I don't know, man. They unveiled an engine at the Hero World 2020 event, and this engine actually displays liquid cooling tech and a trellis frame. Trellis frame. Wow. It might be something between a 300 to 400cc engine, and if this is actually real, then keywords like Dakar Motor, Hero Motocorp, man, they actually seem to uplift spirits. Now, another thing we need to note is that Hero never made anything that is non-VFM. VFM, value for money. Come on. Just saying, they never made anything non-VFM. Man, I love Indian motorcycles. Right, moving on to the next motorcycle brand, that is Royal Enfield. Now, this seems like a fake news and stupid enough to me because there are talks about a 250cc Himalayan, seriously, that have surfaced, and I believe that this is not true. But even if it is a very stupid decision. Listen to me, Hari, please. I'm sure everyone really agrees that the 411 LS engine is actually underpowered that the Himalayan uses. That is very underpowered. And if there is a 250cc variant, then if my math is right, the 250cc Himalayan should be making around 15 bhp. Basic mathematics. I don't know if it's right, but it is basic. Right, the next motorcycle brand that we're gonna talk about is Suzuki. I'm not sure whether Suzuki is actually planning on doing something like that, but if their competitors are doing that, then definitely Suzuki should participate. I mean, they already have the Gixxer engine, Gixxer 250 engine lying around, right? That engine is fantastic. Seriously, it's really nice. Strel says that the Gixxer 250 engine is the second best engine after Honda CBR 250, and I'm sure everyone agrees, including me. Now there is a V-Strom 250cc engine. I mean, there is a 250cc V-Strom that is going around in the international markets, but I'm damn sure that we're not gonna get that. That is a basic trend. Indians usually get very specifically made motorcycles. That is R&D majorly in India because of the unusually polished asphalt that we use. Or is it because of the typical Indian mindset of more mileage? I don't know. You ask yourself. Indians are special. We're special. The next motorcycle brand is Bajaj. Yes, Bajaj. And there is no news about Bajaj. I'm just adding this in to fill in the gap. Bajaj really doesn't seem to care, and I don't think they should either because they already have the Dominar 400 and the 250. Dominar does quite a decent job at off-roading, and maybe they don't need a dedicated motorcycle. This is what I think. And I mean, whatever you think of the Dominar can actually do. You wanna set the streets on fire, Dominar 400. You wanna cruise all day at 100, Dominar 400. You wanna tread over some pebbles and shit, Dominar 400, all the way. Now Bajaj is actually one company that has been giving a fudge about the customers since I can't even remember. Which is why it has actually aged beautifully like wine over the years. Not that the other companies don't, but the trend was set by Bajaj. And fight me in the comment box. So yes, Bajaj can have a beer and chill. But you know who doesn't deserve a beer or chilling? Honda. Yes, I know most of you are getting all roused up right now. First, they make us look stupid with just changing paints and decals on their CBR variants without providing any proper update to their motorcycles. Then they pull off the 150. Then they pull off the 250. What the hell are you doing, Honda? The nation demands to know. Honda at least needs to come up with a twin cylinder 300cc with at least 60 bhp and price it under 1.5 lakhs to make up for the shit that they're doing in the Indian market.